They waited in fear. Then the Deathworlders stepped into the light. The emergency beacon crackled through the void, its distress signal piercing the darkness of the Kepler 442 system. Ambassador Zix Thara of the Ethereal Collective trembled in her crystalline form as she watched the readings on her console. 36 vessels from various peaceful species had answered the call, but they all remained at a safe distance from the massive Vorthak battlecruiser that had appeared without. Warning. Status report, she whispered to her aide, trying to keep the fear from her melodic voice. The Vorthak vessel has surrounded the Serenity Station, Ambassador. 7,000 civilians are trapped inside, Altarians, Zephyrians, even some of our own people. The Vorthaks are demanding complete surrender of all advanced technology aboard the station, or they will execute everyone. Zix Thara's luminescent body dimmed with despair. The Vorthaks were notorious throughout the galaxy as ruthless, raiders who showed no mercy to those they considered weak. Their massive, armor-plated forms and advanced weaponry had terrorized peaceful systems for centuries. No alliance had ever successfully stood against them. "Have we received any response from the other vessels?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "The Centaurian fleet commander sends his regrets but states his ships are not equipped for combat. The Arcturian delegation has already begun retreating to hyperspace. Even the Syrian peacekeepers claim they cannot engage without risking civilian casualties." As if summoned by their conversation, Captain Thexmore's gravelly voice boomed across the communications channel from the Vorthak ship. "Pathetic creatures. You float in your pretty ships like scared children. We grow impatient. You have 1 standard hour to deliver all advanced technology from the station, or we begin the executions." The channel went dead, leaving only the soft hum of life support systems and the collective despair of dozens of alien crews who knew they were powerless to act. That's when the new signature appeared on their sensors. "Ambassador," her aide's voice cracked with confusion. "We're detecting a single vessel approaching from the outer rim. The signature is unusual." Zix Thara studied the readings. The ship was relatively small compared to the massive alien vessels surrounding them, constructed from what appeared to be simple metals and composite materials. No energy shielding, no exotic matter cores, no crystalline amplification matrices. "What species?" she asked. Her aide consulted the galactic database, his tentacles dancing over the holographic interface. "According to the records, they call themselves humans, from a planet designated Terra, Earth. The classification lists it as a Class 12 death world." A collective shudder ran through the bridge crew. Death worlds were legendary, planets so hostile that only the most aggressive and adaptable species could survive on them. But Class 12? That was beyond the scale. Most civilized species couldn't even imagine what horrors would forge a race capable of surviving such conditions. "Should we warn them off?" the aide asked nervously. Before Zix Thara could respond, a new voice crackled through the communications array. It was deeper than most species they knew, with an odd roughness that spoke of atmospheric breathing rather than pure energy absorption. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Earth vessel Indomitable. We received your distress signal. What's the situation?" The directness caught Zix Thara off guard. No formal diplomatic protocols, no elaborate greetings, just a simple question that cut straight to the heart of the matter. "Captain Vasquez," she replied carefully, "we appreciate your response, but I must warn you. You're severely outmatched. The Vorthak vessel is a kilometer long and armed with planet-killer weaponry. Perhaps it would be wise to—" "How many civilians are we talking about?" the human interrupted. 7,000, but— "Understood. Stand clear." The channel went quiet, and Zix Thara watched in fascination and horror as the small human ship accelerated directly toward the Vorthak battlecruiser. This was suicide. The humans couldn't possibly understand what they were facing. Captain Thexmore's laughter boomed across all channels. "What is this? A metal insect comes to challenge the mighty Vorthak Empire. Your ship is not even worth our ammunition. Creatures." "Maybe," came Captain Vasquez's calm reply. "But you threatened civilians. That's where we draw the line." What happened next defied everything the assembled aliens thought they knew about space combat. The human ship didn't fire its weapons. It didn't even seem to have any of the energy weapons that civilized species used. Instead, it launched a series of small objects that moved so fast they were barely detectable on sensors. The Vorthak ship's shields flared and died as primitive kinetic projectiles, simple masses of metal, punched through energy barriers designed to deflect the most advanced particle beams. The projectiles moved so fast, they generated their own plasma clouds on impact, tearing through armor plating like it was made of paper. "Impossible!" Thexmore roared. "Our shields can stop any—" His transmission cut off as a series of explosions rippled along his ship's hull. The human vessel had launched what appeared to be crude chemical explosives, technology so primitive that the Vorthak shields hadn't even recognized them as weapons. But it wasn't just the weapons that stunned the watching aliens. It was the human ship's movement patterns. While every civilized species relied on computer calculations and artificial intelligence to plot courses and avoid collisions, the human vessel moved with an organic unpredictability that spoke of manual control. It twisted and spun through space in ways that no computer would calculate as optimal, making it impossible for the Vorthak targeting systems to lock on. "What are they doing?" Zixathara's aide whispered in awe. "They're improvising," she realized. "Every maneuver is different. They're not following any tactical doctrine we understand." The battle, if it could even be called that, was over in minutes. The massive Vorthak battlecruiser, crippled by impacts from weapons that shouldn't have been able to penetrate its defenses, began venting atmosphere. Emergency pods launched from various points along its hull as the crew abandoned ship. "This is Captain Vasquez to all vessels." The human's voice crackled through the comm system again. "Civilians are secure. Boarding teams are extracting everyone from the station now. Medical teams, please prepare to receive casualties." As rescue operations commenced, Zixathara found herself staring at the human ship in wonder. It was scarred and dented from the brief encounter, showing damage that any civilized vessel would have avoided through superior shielding technology. But it had won. Hours later, after the civilians had been safely evacuated, and the Vorthak survivors taken into custody, Captain Vasquez accepted Zixathara's invitation aboard her vessel. The human was smaller than most species the ambassador had encountered, with pale skin, dark hair, and those unsettling forward-facing predator eyes that marked her species as evolved hunters. "How?" Zixathara asked simply. "Your technology is primitive by our standards. Your ship shouldn't have been able to—" Captain Vasquez smiled, revealing the flat grinding teeth and sharp canines of an omnivore. "You're right. By any logical analysis, we should have lost, but we had something that Vorthak computer couldn't calculate for." Which was desperation, stubbornness, and the absolute refusal to let bullies hurt innocent people on our watch. The human paused, looking out through the viewport at the rescued civilians being transferred to medical ships. "You see, Ambassador, we come from what you call a death world. Every day of our evolution was a fight for survival against impossible odds. We learned early that sometimes the smart play is to do something so crazy, so unexpected that your enemy can't adapt in time." Zixathara considered this. "And you're willing to risk your lives for people you've never met?" "Every time, Captain," Vasquez replied without hesitation. "It's what makes us human." As the Indomitable prepared to depart, word of the encounter spread throughout the galaxy. The Vorthak Empire, humbled by a single small ship from a primitive world, began to reconsider their aggressive expansion. Other predatory species took note. There were new players in the galaxy now, ones who couldn't be intimidated or calculated. They called them Deathworlders, and they had stepped into the light, and the galaxy would never be the same.